Hi, I'm Glen Darcey, Vice President of Product Management for Arturia. Today I'm going to be telling you about our new software product, the Solina V String Ensemble. Alright, so welcome to our newest app, the Solina V. The Solina was modeled after the original Eminent and ARP Solina. Solina was actually made by Eminent, which was an organ company. It was part of an organ. And then they decided to separate it from the organ and sell it as a standalone. About the same time, ARP was looking for a string machine type of product. This was available, so they licensed it. The one that everybody knows is the ARP Solina, but it was really the Eminent Solina. And it is what we modeled here. Basics on it are, it has two sections. It's got a bass section and an upper section. The bass section is monophonic, and it has basically two sounds, the contrabass and the cello. Which is about the same sound an octave up. You can also layer the two. In the upper section, you've got the viola. We'll add a little bit of attack. You've got attack and sustain on them. You've got the violin. You've got the trumpet. Not much of a trumpet, but it was part of the original sound palette. And the horn. The other button that's on the front panel is the ensemble button. And the ensemble button is really what gives the Solina its sound and what kind of the recognizable sound. So here is the viola and the violin without the ensemble. And then with. Now, with a sample-based instrument, you have the two options. You sample it without the ensemble, or you sample it with the ensemble. If you sample it without the ensemble, then you have to use some kind of other chorus, which is a chorus, and it's not really the ensemble sound. If you sample it with the ensemble, then every note that you have has the ensemble, and now it's all of a sudden not going to sound correct. So, physical modeling brings you the ability to actually have what's much closer to the original sound on this. We didn't just do this, we also added the bass volume and the upper volume. I think there was only the upper volume before and then the master. Or it was bass volume and then a master that would balance out the two. The Solina was what they call paraphonic, meaning that you could play multiple notes. You could basically lay your arm on the thing, play lots of notes. But they only had a single attack. Turn up the crescendo. And you can hear how it's very slow. Well, it's very slow on one note. If I put in a second or third note now, you hear that they don't have that same attack. So if I play them all at once, it's all great. But if I play them, then it does not. So that's paraphonic, and that's how the original instrument was, like most organs were. But we also added a true poly mode on it. So you get more of a real polyphonic synthesizer kind of sound, which is part of what made the original polysynth so much more popular than the paraphonic machines that were out at the time. But you've got both modes here. One thing to mention is that the bass and the upper have a split point. The original split them on G2 here. And then the upper. So you can hear where the split is. In our preferences, we've set it up so that you can choose whether you want it layered, which is what the original does, is that the upper plays throughout the whole keyboard. Or you can do a true split here, and you can set the split point. So now, so I can have So I can have a real split on them. And you can set the split point. If I just want the whole keyboard to be just the lower sound, I can move that split point all the way up to G8 or something, which is a nice effect. You can also then shift the octaves of the upper and the bass part independently, and these preferences get stored per patch. If that's all we did, then we would have recreated the Solina nicely, and it's a nice instrument, but the original ones were very limited, and in the modern days of computers, there's no reason to be so limited. So we added our open mode. From a Solina standpoint, we'll turn off the bass section first, and I'll go over what we added down into here. The first thing we added was this Humana button that you'll see. And there was a certain paraphonic instrument that had this preset called Vox Humana, and it was a great sound. It's one that you hear on a bunch of old Gary Newman albums and stuff. And we decided, hey, we've got this cool kind of top octave divider paraphonic thing. That was a great sound from the paraphonic, so let's add that in. One other thing that we did is with the ensemble, we modeled two different ones. We modeled the Mark I, which was a mono ensemble, and by a lot of people they say that that was the better sound. And then later on in the Mark II, they made it a stereo ensemble effect. And other people say that that's a better sound. So we gave you both. So I'll kick on the violin, violas, and the ensemble, and you can hear the Mark I and the Mark II. And when you think back on the old albums, it's really the Mark I is the one that you heard more often, but I don't think one's better than the other. They're just different, but you get them both here. So stepping up to this whole upper section, over here on the left, we've got a master section. We've given you aftertouch, so you can have aftertouch to brightness and level. And then you have velocity to level and brightness as well. Next, we've got an LFO. And the LFO's got multiple waveforms and a rate control and sync and retrigger and fade and delay. What it can do is it can go to a few different things. It can go to vibrato, and I'll pull up the mod wheel. Get a little and you can hear I've got the fade and the delay up, so I'll turn those down. So you add a little bit of vibrato and it's very nice. You can also add some tremolo to them. And then the other place that it goes is the bass cutoff. On the bass section, we've got a filter section as well as an arpeggiator. One thing that you can do now is, because the bass is monophonic, you can sit here and arpeggiate patterns on it, and then you can also be playing things up on the top end. Now, one thing that we also added a low-pass filter. We'll pull down the upper volume right now. And you can hear we've got a resonant filter. And a very nice kind of throaty filter at that. And then you've got envelope mode, and then with the arpeggiator and stuff, you can so you've got some new things that you can do here that were never thought of on the original. Moving on, go up into the upper section. We decided to feed the whole upper section into this bank of resonators. And these resonators came from the same machine that this Vox Humana had. It was a very cool effect, and it gives you a whole lot more sounds. I've got all these sliders here mapped to my Keylab 49, which I'm controlling it with. And I'll kind of just move through the faders a little bit and through some of the modes and give you some audio examples here. And then you can switch it into the high pass mode. It's a very nice way to get a whole lot more tones, a lot more tonality than you ever got out of the original, because those few buttons really don't do a whole lot. So now everything then feeds into our effects section. And we've got 2 effects here in series, actually 3. First, you've got an analog chorus up here, effect number 1. I'll turn off the ensemble so you can hear it by itself. And you've got 3 modes in this chorus. Also, you get a phase shifter, which is pretty much the standard sound if you're looking to do Jean-Michel Jarre types of things. And it's a nice dual phaser. Next, you have a delay, and you have digital delay. And you can also go into analog delay mode. And here you've got LFO depth and rate controls. So just using a little bit of that in the phase shifter. And then kick in the ensemble as well just to get crazy with it. And it really starts to take on a bunch of nice vintage characters. We also have a convolution reverb, and we actually modeled the Eminent 310, the unit that we had. We modeled the spring off of that, or took impulse responses from it. So we'll go 100% on the reverb. You can hear it's got kind of that springy twang going on. And then we also have a bunch of others that we've done. So we've got kind of my personal favorite, which is this. This is a stereo spring reverb that I have. And then a whole bunch of other, we chose a couple of old Roland reverbs. The Dep 5 had these kind of great metallic-y kind of sounds to them, very unique. And they go very long. We've got some kind of weird ones here with the RSP. I'll just play it 100%. Kind of a neat, almost frozen reverb there. So we've got a bunch of different convolution reverb models here that you can pick and choose from. So that's basically the Solina V. It runs in standalone mode, AAX, AU, VST2, VST3 modes, and it comes with a whole bunch of great programs from a whole bunch of great programmers. Best of all, it's available now. So buy it, download it, play with it, enjoy.